What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Phoenix, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. I apologize for the green screen. I don't know what's going on with it. It doesn't want to work with me today. So I do apologize for like this kind of stuff that's going on back and forth. I don't really know what to do necessarily. A couple things that I do want to kind of talk about is the post-credit scene or mid-credit scene, whatever you want to call it. A couple of plot holes that I found. Carnage's breakout scene and then the final fight is kind of the main stuff that I want to really talk about in this video. So we'll start with Carnage's breakout. I think they did a really good job with how they introduced the visual aspect of Carnage in this movie, with him being in the why am I thinking the not the electric shock chair, but in the chair, the lethal injection chair. That's what it was. He was going to get lethal injection because he's a serial killer in California. Why not? But then he breaks out of that. There's a bunch of smoke that goes on. Everybody gets out of the room, and then you see him just slowly come forward and do his yell, which is effectively like a. It almost reminded me like a velociraptor or a raptor yell of some sort, and it was really cool. That was a really cool design, like audio design factor that they did that I thought worked really well for his character, because his character is entirely about death, destruction, anger, blow everything up, which is why the PG-13 rating for especially this movie and the first one a little bit, I'm a little disappointed with. I wish they were rated R. I understand why they're not, because they are technically Spider-Man movies, even though they're both origin stories are completely without Spider-Man. I don't understand why. I like how they do it, but I don't know why Sony decides not to use Spider-Man in this aspect. But anyway, and then his just rampage through the prison works really well, and I like how you kind of get a good display of all of his powers and all of his ability through all of that fight. Moving on to a couple of plot holes. I have three and a half really. Shriek's backstory is effectively non-existent. There's nothing about who she is realistically besides this glowing light in Cletus Cassidy's life when he gets to St. Elms, I believe is what it's called, the foster home that he goes to after he murders his grandma, murders his mom, and gets abused by his dad. He gets moved to this home, and that's where he finds Shriek. But I understand, like, with going into Shriek's backstory, it gets very, very convoluted because her backstory kind of, while she is, and Shriek originated in a Spider-Man comic. However, her powers are derived from a different character named Cloak. And Cloak kind of took her into his Darkfold dimension, so in that case, if you want to do her backstory correctly, you'd have to introduce Cloak in the Dark Force dimension, which is very hard to do in a movie where you're also setting up Carnage. So I understand why they don't really decide to do that. But anyway, that's kind of my biggest issue with Shriek, is you just don't care for her throughout the entirety of the movie. You don't really care. The Ravencroft Institute background is also non-existent. You don't know anything about the Ravencroft Institute. It's just kind of there. The Ravencroft Institute, I don't know why I'm having such trouble saying that, is effectively an institute for criminally insane. It's effectively Spider-Man and Marvel's version of Arkham Asylum from the Batman movies and series and games and all that kind of stuff. But that's all you really get out of it. And they don't use it to kind of bring in any other characters throughout any of the Spider-Man stuff or any of the Sonyverse, from what I can tell. So it feels very throwaway, and it feels like I just want something to say what it is, either to Shriek when she comes in or something like that. But I don't feel like they did that at all. I would also like a little bit more background to Cletus Cassidy, because it seems like a lot of his story is, he pushed his grandmother down the stairs. He threw a hairdryer into his mom's bath, killed her, pushed his grandma down the stairs and killed her, killed his mom, then got abused by his dad, and then was shoved off. And that's all the backstory that we have. We don't have anything really in the halfway house at St. Elms or anything beyond that. It's just those three things, and then now. There's nothing in the middle. And that, when he does that, he's relatively young. And now he's, a middle-aged man, or I guess not middle-aged, but, he's about there. So there's like a gap of probably 20 years or so that's just unaccounted for and move on. You don't get any background of his murders. You don't get anything like that. While he's locked up for being a serial killer, there's nothing about that really. You get one aspect of a carving on the wall of where he's hidden some bodies, and that's it. So I wish that there was a little bit more in there. Also because I felt like at the end of the movie, it was too short. Like, let me see. What is the actual runtime of this movie? So the runtime of the movie is an hour and 30 minutes. Why? Why not push it to an hour 45 or 2 hours? You have the content for it. I don't know why you don't do it. And I feel like these backgrounds and maybe a little bit more into the final fight would be the key that would bump this up from a pretty good movie to a very, very good, if not great, if not elite movie. I don't think it's quite bordering on elite, but I would say very, very good movie compared to just a good movie. The final fight was very this, done. That was it. They used their one PG-13 F-bomb when, spoiler, Venom bites off the head of Cletus Cassidy after he's killed Carnage. And with that, it also seems the movie in general seems very reverting back to what the first one was. Of, at the end of the first one, Venom and Eddie kind of agreed, all right, we're going to bite the heads off of the bad guys. And that's it. No good guys, just bad guys are getting killed. We're going to fight bad guys. We're going to be this lethal protector and this, force for good. Then you start the second movie, no heads, no biting off heads. Venom cannot eat a head. It's like, it feels like the same back and forth between Venom and Eddie throughout the entirety of the movie, which seems a little lazy. I don't want to say lazy writing, but it seems lazy writing. It seems like they couldn't quite figure out something to do for the second movie, so they just threw it together in preparations for a third movie. So I'm a little disappointed in that. But one of the main redeeming factors, I'd say, is the mid-credit scene. They're on vacation. I don't know why. Spoiler alert. If you haven't... You probably shouldn't be watching this movie if you haven't seen... Or this video if you haven't seen the movie yet. So I'm just going to avoid spoiler warnings from basically the entirety of this video. They're on a beach in most likely the Caribbean somewhere. As a line earlier, Venom wants the sand in his toes and the wind in his hair. So they get the sand in his toes. Can't quite deal with the wind in the hair yet. But you get a little brief kind of hint that we're going to see Venom's homeworld. Venom's talking about, showing Eddie. They're watching a novella, and Venom's talking to Eddie about sharing or keeping secrets from each other in a relationship, which is effectively what they have. And so Eddie questions, like, are you keeping secrets from me? Which seems very hard, but Venom says, well, yes, I'm much, much older, and I'm literally from space. So I can show you, but I don't think you're going to be able to handle it. And it looks like then Venom, like, teleports them, more or less, to his homeworld, but it's not. What most likely happens is they get hit with Doctor Strange's spell, because it has that same, like, gold tint to it as it does in the No Way Home trailer. It has that same kind of tint to it, and then on TV, they have the breaking news story from the end of Spider-Man 2 in the trailer, of Spider-Man 3 of, what's his name? J. Jonah Jameson. Don't know why I blanked on that. J. Jonah Jameson talking about Spider-Man is Peter Parker. So in Spider-Man, we're either going to see Venom in Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man and Venom. If I'm not mistaken, we only have 5 villains for the Sinister Six. We have Vulture. Mysterio's dead, so he's not there. Doc Ock, Goblin, Lizard, and so Vulture, Doc Ock, Lizard, Green Goblin, Scorpion, I guess, from the post-credit scene of the first Spider-Man movie. I feel like I'm missing one though. So we have technically more than six. We have Vulture, we have Sandman, we have Doc Ock, we have Green Goblin, we have Mysterio, who may or may not be dead. We have Vulture, we have Scorpion, we have Electro as well. So we have then 8 characters, and Venom might be in there as well because there is this picture of Tom Hardy with a Spider-Man No Way Home hat on, which was deleted from his Instagram 4 weeks ago. So either he got that as a gift from somebody, or he was on set for No Way Home. Again, he's also credited as a writer, and I know that sometimes writers get hat from being on set of movies that they're directly picking up from. So it could be just based on that in him writing Venom 3, taking Spider-Man from the end of No Way Home into Spider-Man or Venom 3. It's all very kind of confusing, but I'm super excited to see where Venom 3 goes, and then also where Spider-Man No Way Home comes, which is in the end of December is when that is. So we have Eternals coming out next month, then No Way Home coming out in December. I don't think there is a release date yet for Venom 3, but I am super excited for that movie to come out. But that's going to do it for me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I know this is a little bit of a scuff video, and I do apologize. This is I have a couple of notes written down, but a lot of it's just off the brain and where my brain goes, and this movie's kind of scattered my brain just a little bit. But for now, go down below, smash that subscribe button if you are new, hit the bell if you want to be notified whenever I either upload videos or go live on stream, and then also hit the like button if you have enjoyed today's video. But for now, take care. Peace.